I think for me, the main highlight for this year has really been the success of our virtual offering. Obviously, travel has been difficult, getting face-to-face has been difficult, but we've moved to a model where we are able to deliver virtual services, whether it's training, consulting, or doing aircraft surveys, really successfully, and so that actually the quality that the individual receives is really very, very similar to what they would receive in a face-to-face setting. So I'm hugely proud of the work the team put in to make sure that we were able to deliver that. I'm also hugely proud if I look to the wildlife side of the business, because not once did an airfield have to close because of the lack of availability of people. And during the whole pandemic, we had people still going to work, still going out in the airfield, and still making sure we were keeping the operation safe. So I think they are probably the two highlights of the last year. So clearly the civil aviation industry has gone through an enormous shock over the last 18 months. And one of the great challenges that's causing is nobody quite knows when the recovery is going to happen. So there was a lot of planning done for this summer for a recovery, which happened in some parts of the world more than others. And now it's planning cycle again. What does next year look like? That's hugely challenging, certainly from a risk and safety perspective, because how do you keep turning your operational tempo up and down whilst maintaining your safety performance? And that's where organisations have really lent on us to help them with that. So at the moment, we are seeing a lot of organisations that have gone through restructuring. So there's a lot of demand there to bring new people, get them up to a level of competence, and I'm talking about very senior levels sometimes here. So there's quite a lot of demand there. We're seeing a lot of demand for approval support, so organisations that are designing and producing either components or aircraft, requiring support to get new approvals, particularly post-Brexit, because of course that has changed the approval process somewhat, but also actually emerging technologies is really fueling that market of new organisations having to get approvals. So we're doing quite a lot of work in that area, but we're also seeing demand in our more traditional offerings around human factors, investigator skills, training, and of course on the military side, the pandemic, other than operationally making it more difficult, but of course the work never stopped. So a lot of demand from both our military clients, where we do a lot of work around human factors training and safety training, but also those organisations that supply the military. So the demand has remained very high there. A Line Operation Safety Audit, or often called LOSA, is a means by which you can get a real insight into what is actually going on in an operation. And whilst we often talk about it in terms of flying aircraft, it actually can be used in any environments, whether that's maintenance, it could be used in other industries as well that are involved in high-risk industries. And what it is you put an observer watching what is occurring, but that observer is well trained and they know what they're looking for, and they are looking to see how those carrying out the activity are managing the threats and the errors that they come across as they're managing that activity. In other words, how well are they managing the risks in the operation? And then you can create a picture of what's really going on. You have to then do quite a lot of data analysis, and then from that data analysis paint a picture of the challenges and the areas for improvement in the organisation, but really importantly also see what's being done really well, what is best practice, and sharing that more widely within the organisation. So it's a very cost-effective way from an organisation to get a snapshot of what is really happening and to learn from those in their organisation who are doing it really, really well.